All right, all right, all right. The Angry Film Critic, because I just saw a comment on it. I will be doing it. I'm trying to get better dates for it. But what I might start doing too is I might start doing just movie critiques of 80s movies and putting them in video form. That'll also help the channel grow as well, but not just live streams. But I got a whole plan for the channel. So I have another, what you call it, helping me out with the channel as well. So that should be it. The fitness channel, I'm doing 2 videos this week or 3 videos this week to release them for the next month. I'm staying in track with that, being that I am starting to lose some weight. I did something recently to see whether or not my weight would come back, and it did. And obviously, guys, processed food is not the way. So I'll get into that in a little bit. But anyway, that's on the Angry Prepper Fitness channel. So, guys, thank you to 5x5. Eric, Joe, Bush Pig, Flown Grow, Patrice, Dobie, Calamity Girl, Glock, Christopher, thank you for the 5x5. David, Koala Jones, Jeff, Raccoon Eyes, thank you to 5x5. Adam, NJ Prepper, Kathy, Colleen, another friend, Water Tiger, Carrie, Win, thank you for the 5x5. Nora, Dow, Chewy, Let's Go, Nikki, Renee, thank you to 5x5. Sojourner, thank you for the 5x5. 76 and Daryl from Denver. Thank you for 5x5. All right, guys. So, what we are. Sorry, I'm trying to get this thing pulled up. Where are we? All right. So, tonight, we're going to talk about. And now, the video I'm releasing tomorrow morning. I was supposed to release today. But I fucked that up. So, it's going to be released tomorrow morning, and it's in regards to what we are seeing, or the nonsense that's headed our way. All right, enough already. But we got to talk about how it's super obvious right now that the elites are offing people, and nothing is being said and or done about it. Now, of course, guys, we all saw what happened in Italy with that boat being capsized, and that being a black swan event, right? Being that they've never seen, or they rarely see water spouts like that in Italy, and a water spout like that to capsize a boat, which is even more alarming, according to a couple of what do they call, boat guys, I guess, right? Maritime people, I don't know how you would call it, but they were stating that. And of course, weather people calling it a black swan event because they, again, never seen anything that bad. Now, the water spout in Italy, you can definitely look at the the weather device. God, I forgot what that was called. That can definitely play a role, or it could have just been bad luck. But here is the problem with the capsized boat situation. Right? HARP. Right? And the HARP situation, or the machine, if you will, can absolutely, it's better now where it can pinpoint where it wants a weather anomaly to happen. But again, that's a little more conspiracy theory in depth, if that makes sense. So, with that, guys, the boat capsize situation was very, very strange. Hold on, let's see if I can pull this up. Right, so the tech billionaire that was on that boat name is Mike Lynch. Mike Lynch was involved in a fraudulent lawsuit with Hewlett Packard. Now, Mike Lynch sold Autonomy Core to Hewlett Packard back in 2008, I think, or 11, for $11 billion. Hewlett Packard then wind up looking into their company a little more and wind up that the company was only worth $8 billion. So Mike Lynch was accused of inflating his company $3 billion, from $8 billion to $11 billion. And Hewlett Packard bought the company. So anyway, Hewlett Packard started a fraudulent suit, and that was here in the United States. So Mike Lynch Mike Lynch's lawyer, Mike Lynch's daughter, who was sort of involved in it as well, and there was a fourth person. His name is Stephen Chamberlain, was involved in this. Now, of course, the boat capsizes. These people who were directly involved wind up dying, and of course, the poor chef. The chef also died as well. Now, on the boat, if I'm not mistaken, it was 22 people. There were 12 patrons and 10 crew members. All crew member except for the chef died. All crew member survived except for the chef. And if I'm not mistaken, 6 people wind up dying. All 6 people were directly related to the lawsuit, with the exception of one of the wives. I think the wife of the lawyer. I don't think she was connected to this anyway. Nonetheless, guys, the people closely connected wind up dying. Now, everybody who are not conspiracy theorists who looked at this article goes, how in the hell did people all connected to the lawsuit died and everyone else who was not connected survived? Again, with the exception of the lawyer's wife. I think she was one of the other people that died. Right? So, red flags all over the place. Stephen Chamberlain, remember the name I mentioned earlier? He wasn't on the boat, but he also died. And guess how he died? He was hit by a car 2 to 3 days prior to this incident of the boat happening. Right, if you look up HP lawsuit, you'll get more in depth about what it was. And it wound up being the financial officer for Autonomy Corp that inflated the numbers for the sale. And they connected it to him. I forgot who that guy was. I didn't wind up writing his name down. But anyway, he was the one who inflated this whole nonsense. And he wound up getting in trouble for it. But I don't know what the depths of his trouble was, and I think he's still alive. But anyway, Mike Lynch's daughter, Mike Lynch's lawyer, and then Stephen Chamberlain, which I think was his, he was also an officer in Autonomy Corp, wound up dying. Now again, Chamberlain hit by a car 2 to 3 days prior to this happening. The case, by the way, Mike Lynch was found not guilty on all charges of the fraud case. So being that he was found not guilty, he was able to walk away from it. But about a month later, he winds up dying in a strange black swan boating incident. Now, of course, they're diverting everybody's attention away and stating that the captain of the ship was held accountable for this incident. Because, yeah, the captain can control the weather, and the captain, as they were saying, should have gotten him out of the situation when he started seeing the storm form or something like that. I read vaguely what was happening in regards to that. So, of course, guys, I had to dig a little deeper, and I found out who was involved in HP, Hewlett Packard. And that is BlackRock. BlackRock has an 11% stake in Hewlett Packard, and so does Vanguard. Vanguard has a 15% stake in Hewlett Packard. So does Bank of America, but I wasn't able to obtain the amount of stake they had in Hewlett Packard. So, of course, Hewlett Packard didn't like the outcome, had to eat the $3 billion cost, and plus whatever they had lost in the lawsuit, or the money they put into the lawsuit, and then these people wind up getting offed. Now, the strangeness switches gear when Stephen Chamberlain, who was again an officer in Autonomy Corp, winds up getting hit by a car. Now, the woman who hits him by a car, which I didn't dive deeper into her, but I will, she wound up staying at the scene of the accident, and she gave her account. Now, guys, these agents who do these things, they're great actors. They're the greatest actors of all time. This is not a coincidence. No, that's the thing, guys. Even Newsweek or Fox News, one of the two, they're like, that's a bit strange. that this guy gets hit and then the boating incident happens 2 days later or 3 days later, people were drawing attention to the weirdness of it. But it gets even weirder with the 8 scientists, the 8 oncologists that died in the plane crash in Brazil. A lot of you guys saw the plane crash, and I have the plane crash on the Angry Prepper IG page. Right, I downloaded the video somewhere and I posted it on there, and of course Instagram gave me shit for it. They didn't take it down, but they gave me shit for it. But still, 8 oncologists on a plane. And guys, whenever you see a plane crash, whenever you see anything weird on a small plane and the small plane crashing like that, and the fact that this small plane went into a flat spin, which was odd in itself, it can happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. It can happen. But it was odd. Just when I looked at it, it struck me as strange. And then when it happened, all I said was, who was on that plane? We'll find out in a couple days. With that, it wound up being 8 oncologists. Now, 3 oncologists missed their flight. 2 of them woke up late, and 1 did not like the plane that they were being assigned and changed their flight altogether. They were like, no, we're not doing this. And the other 8 sucked it up because their original plane was deemed unworthy to fly because it had mechanical issues. The plane gets changed out. One of the oncologists is texting her father how nervous she is now because she's nervous to fly as it is. But now they give them a shittier plane. They get on this shitty plane, and when the plane rolled up to their gate, she was even more nervous and texted her father that she was scared because the plane didn't look right and the plane was old. And what did the plane do? It wind up malfunctioning. Now, these 8 oncologists found a cure for cancer, or a treatment rather, not a cure, but a treatment for cancer. And that treatment was taking the T cells out of the body, something like Resident Evil, if I might. Taking the T cells out of the body, reprogramming them, putting the T cells back in the body, and the T cells would fight the cancer. The cancer cells would attack the cancer cells. These 8 doctors were on there, but they still have 3 that are still alive. So these 3 can make a push. These 3 can make a push, but we have to watch what happens to these 3 scientists if in fact they wind up surviving any longer than the next couple of weeks, or they wind up dying mysteriously. Will AP be doing any gear reviews? Mickey, I have one more gear review to do, actually. On the water filter I did a couple of weeks ago, I have another one to do. That one is going to be done next week. I have to get the dirty water out of a standpipe and show you how that device cleans standpipe water. So I will be doing that video next week, setting up for it. But anyway, guys, with that being said, BlackRock has a lot of stake in a lot of medical companies throughout the world. Throughout the world. So anything, guys, that threatens their cancer treatments for people because it's going to take money out of their pocket, if it destroys cancer or cures cancer, it cannot be released. In fact, there was a scientist a few months ago who worked for a popular medical company, pharmaceutical company, sorry. And he stated in an interview that he got on the phone with the research development group of the pharmaceutical company. He called them 1,000 times. The first time he called them, he got on the phone with one. He told them he had information and data on his cure for cancer. And the person on the phone abruptly hung up and didn't want to talk to him ever again. He called them 1,000 times after that. He said every day for about 2-3 weeks. He goes back to his supervisor. His supervisor goes, yeah, no, they're not taking that call. And he goes, but why? He goes, because you found a cure and they do not want a cure. And if I was you, I would get rid of that information and I would get rid of that ASAP. If I was that doctor, I would have downloaded all of that information and I would have put it on the internet right away. These doctors have to be a little more savvy and a little more espionage-ish, like spy-ish, to get that information off and put it on the internet. Period. Because these guys are finding cures. There have been cures for cancers years ago. And when I mean years ago, guys, I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago, cures for cancer were being found. There were doctors that were looking to release it, and they wind up getting mugged in parks and dying. There were other doctors that had sudden heart attacks. There were other doctors that had car crashes, car accidents. 30 years ago. These doctors have to be a little more savvy and getting the information off the computer, onto a disk, and then into the world. Now, I know somebody that works for a pharmaceutical company. Pharmaceutical computers are the hardest thing to get information off of. Hard. They track your phone. They track the information coming in and out of your phone. If you have a company phone, forget it. Your company phone is tagged, tracked in the whole 9 yards. But even your personal phone, once you go into that said facility, they tag your phone. And all information on and off your phone is getting tagged. If you like sending nudie pics to your fucking loved one, your husband or your wife, they track that picture. You send every text message, what is for dinner, that is tracked. You ask your kids how it's going, that is tracked. You send an innocent picture on your off day, on where you are in Tahiti, that is tracked. Everything is tracked on your phone in the pharmaceutical world. And I only know this because I know somebody who works for a pharmaceutical company. And she tells me the ins and outs of shit of what's going on in the pharmaceutical world when in regards to your phones and things of that nature. Even your watch gets tracked. They want to make sure you steal no information. Now, hackers are worried about hacking all of this bullshit. They're worried about hacking nuclear facilities and water plants. Why don't they hack pharmaceutical companies and get all of the information of cancer curing shit off of there onto the internet? Why don't they do that? That shows me that hackers don't have allegiances to people or damaging the rich. They're only doing it for themselves. Hackers are full of shit. I mean, like, period. If you're really a hacker, you're going to hack Pfizer. You're going to hack Moderna. You're going to hack all the pharmaceutical companies and get all of the cancer treatments and cures and release it onto the internet. Done. Now, there's a couple of treatments that even if you talk about it on YouTube, you can get your channel deleted. You can get you can get the video demonetized. But if you keep talking about cancer cures on YouTube, they will delete your channel. Tell me that's not conspiracy. That I'm not talking conspiracy theory. That's facts. They have deleted multiple channels who talked about multiple cures for cancer. And they demonetized them and they deleted their channel. And in fact, a couple of channels got visits from the FBI and the FDA. Visits to their homes because they talked about cures on things we can eat that can slow down and or stop cancers. And the FBI showing up at your home, the FDA showing up at your home, the the ATF showing up at your home because you're talking about legitimate shit that works. Meanwhile, we can talk about getting kids transgender operations, getting put on beta blockers or hormone blockers. That's okay to put kids on that. And they're finding out that this stuff is disrupting the kid's mental pattern and causing cancer. Facts. But when you talk about curing cancer, you can end up in jail. If you sell apricot kernels, you can end up in jail. Depends on the state you live in. If you talk about that on the internet, they will take your channel down. Period. So now tell me that we're lying. Because when you tell the truth, they take you down. When you tell lies, they keep you up. Anyway, all of that to say, guys, is that they're going to continue to flood it. Now, places like Rumble will allow you to talk about a lot of this stuff. And I will talk about it on here. Fuck them. And I'll talk about it on Rumble as well. But there are a lot of fucking cures out there. Just in your diet change alone can shrink cancer or stop growth or even reverse the growth. Just diets alone. Forget about all this other bullshit that's out there, all the medicines that are out there and the treatments. That alone can reverse a lot of your problems. They don't want to talk about it because they want you to stay sick. The pharmaceutical companies bought out YouTube a long time ago because YouTube is not about free speech. And they hide behind, well, this is my corporation. I can do what I want. All right, so be it. But the fact that they are complicit in keeping people sick, that's the bigger problem. And it's why, guys, we need a revolution. It's why we need to reset the machine. We have to destroy the machine. The only way to make things better is to destroy the machine. We need a complete and total collapse. And I know what I'm asking for. And I know what it looks like. And I know how hard it's going to be. And I know that even me, I can die in that process. But it has to be a full reset. A full-on reset that sets everything back. We have to. We need it. We need it. Because we have to get the machine broken and realigned, or reset rather, and realigned for our benefit, because it doesn't benefit us now at all. At all. Right now they're lying to us. They're saying, oh, you got cancer? Go over here and take this treatment. Meanwhile, you can eat a ton of shit that can reverse it. Like blueberries. Organic blueberries, that is. Right? But they don't want you to do that. They want you to be scared. As soon as you're diagnosed with Mr. C, they want you to be scared. So that fear, aggravation, your hormone levels are out of whack when you are scared and you are anxious and you're worried. Your hormones are out of whack. And that helps cancer grow. Facts. Not a lie. Facts. But if you keep your head about you, if you stay in a good place, if you keep positive thinking and you switch your diet, you're going to win. You're going to wholeheartedly win. Anyway, guys, that being said, I'm going to go off the air now. I got to get up in the morning, go to work like everybody else, 24-hour shift. I will see a lot of you guys hopefully later this week. Other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, man. Be good, guys.